The Nevada sun beat down on my weathered Vault 111 jumpsuit as I crested a rocky ridge, the Mojave stretching before me like a parched, endless canvas. Fallout 4 was a distant memory, replaced by this bizarre fusion I'd created with far too many mods. Legend of Chima, of all things, had thoroughly infested the wasteland. I wasn't just wandering a post-apocalyptic desert anymore. I was sharing it with anthropomorphic animals, ripped straight from a Lego cartoon. Below me, nestled in a relatively fertile valley, was my fledgling settlement. It was less a city, more a collection of scavenged shacks and hastily erected fences. But it was home. And it was populated, not by the usual raiders and ghouls, but by, well, you name it. There were burrock bears, grizzled and strong, hammering away at metal scraps in the makeshift workshop. A small group of Laval lions, prideful and skilled in combat, patrolled the perimeter with scavenged laser rifles. A scatter of Warriors wolves, always alert and sniffing the wind, acted as scouts. Even a pair of Eris eagles, surprisingly adept at flying with jury-rigged jetpacks, provided aerial reconnaissance. My mods had really outdone themselves. It wasn't easy, this life. The usual wasteland problems were amplified by the complexities of interspecies relations. Imagine trying to explain the concept of sharing to a stubborn Gaussian gorilla who decided the entire supply of Tartos was rightfully his. Or mediating a dispute between a Krager crocodile arguing over water rights with a polite, but firm Razor raven. But somehow, we were surviving. I picked my way down the slope, past a field of mutated corn struggling to grow in the irradiated soil. My own armor, cobbled together from scavenged plates, and reinforced with chima tech, felt heavy in the heat. It wasn't power armor, not exactly. It was Kai-powered armor. The mods, in their infinite wisdom, had introduced Chima's magical energy into the wasteland. The armor itself was a mishmash of metal, plating and what looked suspiciously like Lego bionicle parts. But it worked. It absorbed the little Kai orbs, glowing blue energy spheres, that now inexplicably dotted the landscape, and channeled it into enhanced strength, speed, and even a rudimentary energy shield. As I approached the settlement, I saw a blur of orange fur. Laval, the leader of the lions and arguably my second in command, bounded towards me, his laser rifle slung over his shoulder. He had an almost unnerving calmness about him, a regal bearing that belied the absurdity of the situation. "Vault Dweller," he greeted, nodding his leonine head. "We have a problem." Problems were standard fare. Usually, it was raiders or a pack of rat roaches the size of small cars. But this time, it was different. A patrol spotted something. To the south, Laval explained, his brow furrowed. Something big. And it's disrupting the Kai flow. The importance of Kai flow couldn't be overstated. It powered our defenses, our farming equipment, and even some of our more advanced weaponry. A disruption could cripple the settlement. "Show me," I said, tightening my grip on my own modified laser pistol. Laval led me to the edge of the settlement, where a group of warriors, wolves, were gathered around a holotape player. The grainy image flickered to life, showing a distant, swirling vortex of purple energy. It pulsed erratically, disrupting the normally steady flow of blue Kai orbs in the area. "What is it?" I asked, my stomach churning. "We don't know," Warriors replied, his voice a low growl. "But it's not natural." We geared up, gathering a small squad of lions, bears, and wolves. I grabbed my trusty ghost rifle, modified with, you guessed it, a Kai-powered charging mechanism for extra punch. We headed south, towards the source of the disturbance. The landscape changed as we approached, the once barren desert giving way to twisted, corrupted vegetation. The air crackled with unnatural energy, making my skin crawl. Finally, we found it. In the center of a crater blasted into the earth, a massive structure pulsed with dark energy. It was a towering spire of jagged metal and twisted wires, humming with an unholy power. It was clearly not a pre-war structure, nor was it something any of the factions in the Mojave had built. It was alien. And in front of it stood him. It was a figure I recognized instantly, even in this bizarre context. He wore tattered robes and radiated an aura of unimaginable malice. It was Lord Vronos, Laval breathed, his eyes wide with a mixture of fear and hatred. Vronos, the villainous leader of the Ice Hunters from Legend of Chima. What was he doing here? And how had he gotten here? "Ah, the Vault Dweller," Vronos hissed, his voice a grating rasp. "I have been expecting you. The power of this world is fascinating. And soon, it will be mine." He gestured towards the spire. "This device," he continued, "will allow me to siphon the Kai energy from this entire wasteland. I will create a new chima, a chima ruled by me." A fight was inevitable. We charged, rifles blazing. The lions and bears formed a shield wall, absorbing the worst of Vronos' energy blasts. The wolves flanked, snapping at his heels. I raised my ghost rifle, aiming for the spire. Vronos was powerful, channeling the stolen Kai, devastating attacks. But we were persistent. We were desperate. We had built a home here, a fragile community in the middle of chaos. And we weren't about to let some power-hungry ice hunter take it away. The battle raged. Kai orbs exploded in bursts of light and energy. Laser fire ripped through the air. The ground trembled beneath our feet. Finally, I saw my chance. As Vronos was distracted by Laval, I took aim and fired. The ghost rifle discharged, sending a concentrated blast of energy screaming towards the spire. The spire trembled, cracked, and then exploded. A wave of pure Kai energy washed over us, cleansing the corrupted landscape. The dark energy emanating from Vronos flickered, sputtered, and then died. He staggered, weakened and defeated. Laval seized the opportunity, leaping forward and disarming him. The other members of our squad swarmed him, securing him. The battle was won. But the victory felt hollow. We had stopped Vronos, But the experience had shown us how fragile our world was, how easily it could be disrupted by forces beyond our understanding. We returned to the settlement, weary but alive. The Kai flow had returned, revitalizing our defenses and our crops. Life continued, albeit with a lingering sense of unease. As I stood on the ridge, watching the sun set over the Mojave, I knew that our struggle was far from over. The wasteland was a dangerous place, even with talking animals and magical energy. But we would face whatever came next, together. Because in this strange, modded world, we had found something worth fighting for: a home, a community, a glimmer of hope in the endless darkness. And that, I realized, was more valuable than any amount of pre-war treasure or advanced technology. It was our chima, and we would protect it, no matter the cost.